welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today I want to create a monogram card with a twist. I think that monogram cards are really nice for making it really clear to your recipient that you've really thought about them and that it's made specially for them. And I want to use a technique that gives it a little twist. So I'm going to be using this J, which is one of the large letter dies from Altenew, and also this Altenew stamp set, which is the Garden Delights layering stamp set, although we're only going to use the outlines today. So I've got this piece of green cardstock. It's actually shaded spruce from Stampin' Up, and then I've cut the J from Petal Pink cardstock. And I'm just going to stick a couple of mini glue dots on the back. If you've got any temporary adhesive, that would be even better, but I don't have any at the moment. So I'm just going to use these glue dots because they may tear slightly when I pull it off. It doesn't really matter because the J is going to go back over here eventually. So I'm going to position that slightly up this way, and then I'm going to take just the outline stamps from the set, and I'm going to take my VersaMark ink. And the first stamp I'm going to place very carefully because I want that in a specific position. So I'm going to want that down here. And that's because we're going to cover that eventually. And the reason that we've adhered that here is so that it gets perfectly into that pattern. And then I can use my other stamps just to kind of complete the pattern. And then the other thing I'm going to do is stamp this large one onto a spare piece of Petal Pink cardstock. So then I'm going to take my antique gold embossing powder from Altenew. I'm just going to kind of carefully take this off of here, and I'm going to just cover these two flowers with it. Now I can use my heat tool to heat those two up. So I've decided that I actually will use two of the layers on this flower. So I'm going to use blush first. So I'm not using, there's a layer that fills in the whole flower. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this, which traditionally would be the second layer of colour. Now I'm going to use Pink Pearl for the next layer. And I always think when you've got a stamp that's bigger than the ink pad you're using, it's easier to take the ink pad to the stamp instead of the other way around. And make sure you get a nice coverage that way. And then I'm going to do this layer in Rouge, and the same with this layer. So then we've got this nice delicate flower. So I'm just going to die cut that out with the coordinating die. So then we've got this lovely flower. Our tone on tone stamping here, because we've not heat embossed that, we've just left it as the VersaMark ink. And then this J that fits into it that has the heat embossing on. So I've cut another J from some gold glitter cardstock, that's from Hunkydory, and I'm just going to offset that on there. So let's glue that on. And then I'm going to glue this into place on my card as well. And I'm going to glue this piece onto this piece of glitter cardstock. So that's 1/4 of an inch larger than this green piece. So it's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Now I can glue this onto the front of my card. Now I'm going to pop this flower up on dimensionals. I'm going to make sure that that goes directly over the one that I stamped so that it makes it part of the pattern. Then I've chosen to foil my sentiment today using this Happy Birthday from the Mini Everyday Sentiments from Spellbinders. And I've cut it out using this coordinating die. But obviously if you don't have a hot foil machine, you can heat emboss it. I want this to go across there So I want some dimension till about that T. So I'm just going to use some foam strips and I'm just going to put it up to there. And I could just dab a bit of glue on that other end. And then I'm just going to finish off with some of these Cartabella enamel dots. They're from the Gather at Home collection. So there's our finished card. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's video and the little twist that we've given to this monogram card. We've actually used our stamps in quite a lot of different ways today, with just the tone-on-tone VersaMark ink on the background, heat embossing it on here, and then filling this in with a couple of the layers, although we've not used all of the layers of the stamp set there. So I really hope that you like the finished product. If you do, then I'd appreciate you clicking like below. You can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future projects. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture product list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.